Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to continue with our topic database, but we are going to talk about what we call database modules. A database module shows the logical structure of a database, which includes the relationships and constraints that determine how data can be stored and accessed. Who can tell us what a data model in database management system is? Is there anyone with an idea? Okay, let me briefly explain to you. A data model in database management system, which is the DBMS, is the concept of tools that are developed to summarize the description of the database. Data models provide us with a transparent picture of data, which helps us in creating an actual database. It shows us from the design of the data to its proper implementation of data. Individual database models are designed based on the rules and the concepts of whichever broader data model the designers adopt. Most data models can be represented by an accompanying database diagram. Okay, that was our introduction. Now, let's go into detail. Relational model. What is a relational model? This is the most common model. The relational model sorts data into tables, also known as relations, each of which consists of columns and rows. Each column lists an attribute of the entity in question, such as price, zip code, or a birth date. Together, the attributes in a relation are called a domain. A particular attribute or a combination of attributes is chosen as a primary key that can be referred to in other tables. When it's called a foreign key. So, in brief, we are trying to say a primary key is a unique identifier we use when searching to retrieve a specific record. So, each row also called a table. It includes data about a specific instance of the entity in question, such as a particular employee. The model also accounts for the types of relations between those tables, including one-to-one, one-to-many, and man-to-many. Then we have three types of relational models. There are three types of relational models. I want to hear those models from you. Is there anyone with an idea of the types of relational models? Okay. Model number one, it is called the conceptual data model. Then number two, representational data model. And finally, we have what we call the physical data model. Then the conceptual data model. What does that describe? The conceptual data model describes the database at a very high level and is useful to understand the needs or requirements of the database. It is this model that is used in the requirement gathering process. That is, before the database designers start making a particular database, one such popular model is the entity or relationship model, the ER model. So the ER model specializes in entities, relationships, and even attributes that are used by database designers. In terms of this concept, a discussion can be made even with non-computer science or non-technical users and stakeholders, and their requirements can be understood. Then after the conceptual data model, we have the representational data model. This type of data model is used to represent only the logical part of the database and does not represent the physical structure of the database. The representational data model allows us to focus primarily on the design part of the database. A popular representational model is a relational model. The relational model consists of relational algebra and relational calculus. In the relational model, we basically use tables to represent our data and the relationships between them. It is a theoretical concept whose practical implementation is done in physical data model. There is an advantage of this representational data model. The advantage of using a representational data model is to provide a foundation to form the base for the physical model. It forms the base for the physical model. Then finally, the physical data model. The physical data model. How does the physical data model is used? The physical data model is used to practically implement relational data model. Ultimately, all data in a database is stored physically on a secondary storage device such as disks and tapes. This is stored in the form of files, records, and certain other data structures. It is all the information on the format in which the files are represented and the structures of the databases. The presence of the external data structures and their relation to each other. Here, we basically save tables in memory so they can be accessed efficiently. In order to come up with a good physical model, we have to work on the relational model in a better way. Then, structured query language, SQL, is used to practically implement relational algebra. Then, we also have the benefits of relational database. So what are the benefits of a relational database? Number one, simplicity of model. It does not require any complex queries since the structuring so simple. SQL queries are enough to handle the data. Number 2, ease of use. Information can be accessed or retrieved within seconds without indulging in the complexity of the database. 3, accuracy. Their structure does not support data duplication. 4, data integrity. RDBMS databases are also widely used for data integrity as they provide constants across the tables. Number 5, normalization. What is normalization? It is a method that breaks down information into manageable chunks to reduce storage size. Then number 6, collaboration. Multiple users can access the database to retrieve information at the same time and even if data is being updated. Number 7, we have security. Data is secure as no authorized users can access the information. Then, where there are benefits, there are also limitations. So what are the limitations of relational database? What are the limitations of relational database? Firstly, maintenance problem. What do you understand by the word maintenance? If something becomes a problem, what does that mean? The maintenance of the relational database becomes difficult over time due to the increase in the data. Number 2, cost. What do you understand by the term cost? The relational database system is costly to set up and maintain. Third, physical storage. What comes in your mind when you hear the word physical? Or when you hear the word storage, what comes in your mind? A relational database is comprised of rows and columns, which requires a lot of physical memory because each operation performed depends on separate storage. Number 4, lack of scalability or scalability. What do you think? Why using the relational database over multiple servers? Its structure changes and becomes difficult to handle, especially when the quantity of the data is large. Due to this, the data is not scalable on different physical storage servers. Number 5, complexity in structure. What does that mean? Complexity. Relational databases can only store data in tabular form, which makes it difficult to represent complex relationships between objects. This is an issue because many applications require more than one table to store all the necessary data required by their application logic. Then finally, or lastly, decrease in performance over time. What does that mean? decrease in performance over time. The relational database can become slower, not just because of its reliance on multiple tables. So these are the limitations for the relational database. So you have to know the relationships, the limitations, and also the benefits of a relational database. You also need to remind yourself about the types of relational models, which are the conceptual data model, the representational data model, and the physical data model. Also, you have to know how does the relational model works. How does the relational model works? And you should be able to state what a data model in database system is. Oh, this is the end of our lesson. I would like to thank you all for paying attention. Then I want you to answer the following questions in your groups. Question number 1. You can write them down on pieces of papers. Question 1. What is a data model in database management system is? What is a data model in database management system? Number 2. What are the 3 types of relational models? Number 3. How does a relational model works? Number 4. What does a conceptual data model describes? Number 5. What is the advantage of using a relational data model? Number 6. How does the physical data model is used? Number 7. What are the benefits of relational database? Number 6. Give any 3 limitations of relational database. Thank you. You have a good day.